Hi, Emma. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Hi, Elsa. It's so good to be here. I'm so excited.
Me too. We met through, was it Hey Mama? I don't even remember now. I
Yes,
feel like it was Hey Mama.
that's right. Through Hey Mama.
Um,
Yes.
which for everyone who does not know, it's such a cool networking organization. It's like networking and community building for moms in business. And they are all across the United States. And they just host so many fun in-person events, virtual events, like learnings, teachings, networking opportunities. It's really a cool organization. Uh, and even if you don't participate in any of those things, sometimes you'll see a post from someone wonderful like Emma and something sparks, and you're like, oh, the universe meant for me to see this person's bio today. And let's find a cool way to connect. So we chatted briefly, and it was one of those conversations where I was like, I could really talk to you for like 8 more hours. And
I
we still would
agree.
not run out of things to say on this one topic. So maybe we should record some of this gold for other people to hear too.
So fun. I completely agree. I feel the same way.
Oh, good. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, the business you're running now? You have such an interesting background, and I think people will find it fascinating. And then we'll jump right in.
Thank you. Yes. So my business is I am a spiritual stylist, sacred space designer. My work is all about helping people feel good in their own skin and also feel good in their home. And that could also that means their physical space, but also the home that houses the spirit and the soul. So it's a very holistic approach to I mean I can style and design a home, a space, but also a person or even a life. So with my work, when I offer what I call a spiritual makeover, we work with all areas of a person's life,
I
which is very
love
exciting
that.
to me.
I love that so much. A spiritual makeover. How beautiful. I shared
It's
with
so fun.
you prior to this, I feel very much the same way about home organization. Like it's just one facet of where organizational tools and skills can really help us to create a holistic approach to living the life that we want to be living and co-creating. And so when I heard you talk about that, I was like, yes, because all of these things are like your health and the way you feel about your body and the way you feel in your mind and your home and everything. It's all one, and all of those emotions just blend in and out of one another. So it's so cool to hear how you're integrating these things.
Amazing. Yes. Yeah, that's why I resonated so deeply with your mission as well and your business. Because yeah, we definitely agree, have that holistic approach to everything and how one thing affects the other, and yeah, and how everything is energy, and yeah, how that affects us in turn. So yes.
Oh, everything is energy. It always cracks me up when people say they don't believe in energy. And I'm like, I don't even know what that
Right.
means. Like it's not a thing to believe or not believe. Like
Yeah.
energy is a
100%.
real thing
100%.
that exists.
Yeah.
You can
Mhm.
certainly choose how much you want to believe about the impact it has on the world around you and you as a human, but it is very much real.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
one of the questions we ask all of our guests is if there is some word or feeling or descriptive phrase, like is there something that you at this point in your life feel like you're really focused on bringing into your life, or like, the feeling you want to be creating in your life? I feel like it always kind of changes throughout the seasons as we get older and our circumstances change. For me right now, I'm very focused on joy because I think I've spent so much of my life focused on like production and just productivity and ambition, and I kind of forgot how to have fun. Like I thought that the more successful I was, that meant fun, and it turns out it didn't. So I'm trying to do all these like joyful, playful things, like diving under waves in the ocean and saying yes to like silly things that I normally would say no to with the kids or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I completely know why we're connected as well. Because I'm like goosebumps because joy is my word as well.
Yeah.
100%. So I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, joy 100%. I'm all about reconnecting to fun and play And I can relate to you bringing up your children as well. I have 4 boys, and just watching them and learning from their approach, definitely felt for a while that I didn't want to make my passion my business and then hate it. Like, I wanted to keep the fun and the play in it. And I often have to remind myself, especially when I stress out about something, that why I'm actually doing this and how much I love it and how much I enjoy it. And that's why I'm in this business to start with. So I always let joy, I try and I want to let joy lead. And I feel that that's a really good, I guess, that's how I would define success as well, by how much fun and how much joy I'm feeling.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful that this is where I am in my life, where, you know, it's hard being so focused on something that isn't of service to other people. I think it's a very difficult path, at least for me personally. Like it didn't resonate with my own spirit. And I found that the more I shift towards being of service and just trusting that the universe will mean that I can provide for myself and my family, it really creates so much more room for experiencing joy in that process. So even with this, like people ask me, even like my husband, he's wonderful and so supportive, but he's like a head of sales kind of a person. It's very different personality type than mine. And I was like, I'm going to launch a podcast. And he's like, how are you going to make money doing that? And I was like, huh? Why would I make money on a podcast? That doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, I just want to have great conversations with people that I think are interesting and I want to learn from them. And that brings me joy, being in community and hearing about what other people are doing with their lives. And, if at some point, like some rich company wants to like sponsor this and it feels aligned, then that's cool. But like, it's not the end goal. And same for Composed Living. It wasn't like, I'm going to make billions of dollars helping people organize their lives. It was like, I can't believe that people don't have the same skill set that comes so naturally to me. And I would be so honored to share that with other people.
Yes.
And that's, it makes it more fun. It makes your passion and your purpose like aligned. It's fun. It's fun to go to work and to do these things.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the more fun you're having, also the more relaxed you are, which means you're also more open to ideas and downloads and guidance that comes through, which in turn can lead to something else that is going to bring in the money or whatever. So it sounds counterintuitive. It's just focused on play and having fun, but you never know where that's going to lead you. Although that's not your goal, that's just a bonus that comes with it naturally when you're having fun and following your heart, for sure.
Yeah. I love that. What do you do? Like, what have you already done that you were like, yes, this is so playful and fun? Or do you have something like on the calendar that's coming up that's going to be all about playfulness?
Yes, I think I often need to remind myself to do what I am teaching my clients or advising or like encouraging my clients to do, to have something fun that they do every day, to schedule the fun. I strongly believe in like good sleep, to meditate, eat well, but also for me at least, I often forget the fun part. So what I'm doing for myself right now is I'm creating like an art shack just out in my backyard. We have an old shed that I'm going to turn into like a painting studio just for me, because I love to paint. So just to do something that's only for me and super creative, but not leading to something necessarily productive, although I know it's going to benefit me in so many ways. So I'm super excited about that, and to do something just for me. And I'm also about to spend the summer in Sweden, where I go every summer, which is also an important part of the way I look at my business, that I still want to make time for being a mom, because I love being a mom so much, and I do have 4 little kids. And that's just when I completely switch off everything, and I want to keep that in my business wherever it goes. I still want to have the ability, I still want to be able to take the time off and just play. And that's what we do. We're just outside the whole day, and for almost 3 months, and just playing and having fun. And I love that so much. And I never want to let that go. To have like my summer break. It's like Camp Mom. We just all hang out and it's super fun.
I love that. And what a beautiful way to create that balance in your life. It's so European, right? Like there's not a lot of American culture that allows for this sort of like 3-month long hiatus. Uh,
Yes.
but it makes so much sense. I actually worked for a healthcare company that was Swedish at the beginning of
Okay.
my career, and every single employee, no matter if you were like, on the first employee or the most senior employee, everybody got at least 6 weeks off, and then it went up
Yeah.
from there, and I was like, "What is this
Mhm. I
magic?
know.
Are you kidding me? Like, where am I even gonna go for 6 weeks?" And
I
it
know.
just it
Mhm.
really set the tone for my career because it was one of my earlier jobs, and I was like, "Why would I ever not want at least this much
Yes.
time off?"
Yes.
And so now I find it much easier. I mean, it's harder, I think, being a business owner when my business is open 7 days a week and it kind of continues even if I'm on vacation. I have to be very cognizant of like, I'm not going to have my emails on my phone, or I'm going to, temporarily take off our business Instagram just so I don't see it and get sucked back into it. But
Right.
I love this. It sounds so idyllic. Like we're going to Sweden and we're going to be in nature and surrounded by trees and water and playing. It's so wonderful. How old are your
I
kids?
value it. So I have a range from 1 to 15. So I have a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 15-year-old.
That's awesome. That sounds like so much fun right there.
It is super fun. I'm so grateful they are. Yeah, it's the best.
Do they enjoy this time like as downtime? Are they like classic teenagers that are like, I want to play on my phone or video
No,
games?
it's funny like that. We've always, because we travel a lot, and we've also lived all over the world. So my kids are born in different countries. None of them are born in Sweden. But we always feel like since we've moved around so much, our family unit has become so strong, and we all just love spending time together. So even at like in the evenings now, like we all just always hang out in the kitchen or in the living room together. Even if they're on their devices, they like to just stay in the same room, which is super nice. And also when we're traveling, like we all just like we like spending time together. So that's really nice. And I think for them, it's been also been important to have this time away in Sweden to connect to their heritage and to
Yeah.
feel. It's hard, like when people ask them, where are you from? It's like, well, like because they weren't born there, but we speak Swedish at home. So it feels important for me to give that to them, some kind of identity or heritage, where they go back and see their family of origin and spend time there in the motherland in a way. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
so we
cool.
all enjoy that.
That's really nice. Neither of my parents were born in the States. My brothers and I were all born here in California. Uh, and it's still is a little bit tricky, during that time I was born in the very early 80s. And my mom's family was all in the Middle East, and there was no internet, there wasn't social media, there wasn't an easy way to connect with family, and we didn't grow up speaking Arabic in our house. So we have this vague sense of culture, and we know our mom's culture. We grew up eating, Lebanese food and all of these things, and we hear our mom speak Arabic. Most of the family friends that we had were all friends that are from the Middle East, or they met. My both of my parents went to college in Beirut, and so they met people from all around the world who were all studying in Beirut together at that time in the probably early 70s. And then they all moved to California together. So really what we grew up around was this like immigrant community of foreigners, not just Arabs, but also, people from all around the world who, like my dad is Danish, for example, um, that all kind of merged here together, but it doesn't quite feel whole. Like I've never been to my mom's hometown. There's so much of her family that we still have not had a way of communicating with because have not learned Arabic and they have not learned English, and no one is traveling between the two places. And I think that causes a lot of this like underlying sadness for my brothers and I, where we would have really loved that opportunity to be so fully immersed into that culture. And it's such a good opportunity for us to know our parents better,
Yeah, definitely. I can so relate to that. And I think also that's one of the reasons why I felt so drawn to creating this sacred space design business, because for me, sacred space is that to create a home where I feel safe and at home, wherever that may be. Yes, within myself, but also the physical space in my physical home, to create somewhere, a place where for myself and my family, where we can feel stable and safe and together. So I can definitely relate to all you're saying.
Yeah. That's such a beautiful sentiment. I mean, the home really is, it's the space, it's where we all retreat back to sort of recover from whatever happens outside of here. And so making that the most safe and sacred space is really important, I think, for everyone. Uh, you do a lot of work with energy. And one of the things that you mentioned in a previous conversation, or maybe in your bio, I'm not remembering, but was this concept of how do you sort of protect yourself if you're an empath from other people's energy? And it just really, really resonated with me, because I think this has come up more so for me now that I'm working in people's homes. I didn't notice it as much in healthcare. Like, it felt like, uh, you go to just what, I don't know what the reason was. I didn't feel it as strongly. Now that I'm in people's homes and we're touching everything that they own, and it's like this really intimate interaction. And also they have sometimes a big emotional reaction to letting go of stuff, or this vulnerability of inviting someone into their space. I realize that I come home and it's like, I need to sit in my car before I can come inside the house. Like, the thought of having another human being talk to me or be physically around me is so completely overwhelming that, I'll go for a drive. Like, I can't do it. And I'm wondering if you have like a magical quick fix for me, or
I
just
mean,
what you
actually,
do to
yes.
protect yourself from that.
Yes, and actually I do, and it's been a lifesaver for me because I can relate to everything that you were just saying. And this was a big problem for me as a child. I mean, I'm an introvert as well, and I tended to isolate myself a lot as a child because it was overwhelming. That's also one of the reasons I felt called to work with kids, which I also do like on the side, because I feel, and especially I can definitely relate to the kids, being the empath kids that I meet as well. My kids are very sensitive as well to energies. And you can obviously relate to this as well. And I think one of the things that I learned, it took me quite a long time, but one of the techniques that I learned is a super simple technique. And the good thing is, it doesn't even matter if you believe in this stuff or not. I'm not going to go all woo woo, but even if you can visualize it, and everyone can visualize, because it's literally just thinking about something, picturing something in your mind. So if you're able to conjure up an image of your mom, for example, in your mind, then you can visualize, because it's just seeing with your mind's eye.
Okay.
So the trick is, so all you need to do, and this is something I recommend everyone does in the first thing in the morning. I do this every morning. I do this throughout the day if I've interacted with other people, or if I go to a party or an event. It's just, there's a few things you can do, but just surround yourself. Imagine you surround yourself in a bubble of white light. And it's literally that simple. You can do this for other people as well. I do this for my kids, but just see yourself surrounded in a bubble of white light. What I do as well when I do that, so I ask, you can ask for it, or you can just visualize it, whichever way, both of them work. And you can also see yourself ground through your feet. So just imagine like roots coming out of the bottom of your feet, going into the earth, and just really ground you to the center of the earth. And then just watch this bubble of white light. Even if you see like a tiny spark of white light at the center of your chest, just growing and expanding so it covers your entire body. And if you feel like it, you can just see this bubble grow and watch it expand until it covers the entire room that you're in, the entire building that you're in. And just watch this light expanding so it expands, covering the entire town that you're in. And now just see this light cover the entire state that you're in, our entire country, and then just expanding outwards, surrounding the entire planet. And it just brings the most peaceful kind of feeling of protection for me. And even just knowing that you can do this for other people, it's super simple. And I even just tell my, even with my 4-year-old, I just, before he goes off to daycare, I just tell him, do you have your bubble ready or something? And it's just a fun thing to do. And it sounds silly and you don't need to believe it, but it actually is
Sweet.
really, really effective. So that's the one thing you can do beforehand to protect yourself. You can also, what I do if I go into a harsh environment or a busy environment, or if I just go to the mall or something, just envision you like a shield in front of you. So just even like a golden shield, just like, for my kids, I tell them like a superhero shield, um, just as like an extra protection
Mm.
around the chakras, which are like energy centers all throughout your body. So just sometimes if you need some extra protection, the shield is good. But then also to do after, like you said, because I teach a lot about clearing a space energetically and also cleansing your own energy. And then there are a few techniques where you can, I'm not sure how much you want to go into that, but
Yeah,
that's
no, I'm
also,
here for all of it.
yeah, there's simple ways to also clear. Because what I talk, because I work with energy, and for about 20 years I've been working individually with clients doing coaching and mainly focusing on people's energy. So I see, I can see like, so the energy attachments that, so I call them cords. So when you're interacting with someone, or if there's an exchange where someone is a bit needy or someone is wanting something from you, it could be a client, or it could be a child, but not necessarily a child, because that's more of a loving exchange. But if you have people wanting things from you, it can create like a cord, which is an energy attachment that is draining energy from your own aura.
Yeah.
So it's always good to cleanse yourself of those attachments, and you can do that simply by something called cord cutting. And you can never cut cords of love. So all the attachments that you have to people in your family, they can never be touched. They're always there. But it's good to just, even if you just, what you can do is, if you want to visualize an angel or a spirit guide, or just some celestial being helping you, just cutting away. Like for me, I work with the Archangel Michael, so I just envision him having his sword, like just cutting away all these attachments. Yeah, and it's literally that simple. Or if you just want to see, yeah, just visualizing them releasing from yourself. And then what I finish with is like a white light shower. So I just envision white light coming from above and just completely showering me, and just washing everything away. And it's just a simple cleansing technique that I do at the end of every day. And so, but if you have the bubble, you will feel better. And I always say to my clients as well that you wouldn't go out in the rain without an umbrella. And this is exactly the same thing. This is how I protect my energy when I go out, because it's so
Wow.
important for me to keep my energy clear and clean because of the work that I do, so that I'm able to tune in. So yeah, I'm very, very strict on, I have very strong boundaries when it comes to my energy.
That's awesome. So every morning you start with the white light bubble visualization.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
I love this image of the golden shield. If you're like
Feels.
in
Yeah.
the interaction, it's
Yeah.
kind of, you're like a woman warrior. You've got your gold shield. You've got like Archangel Michael with his sword cutting away cords.
All the team, all the
It's very
support, the whole
powerful
team.
and
Yes.
cool. That's so fun. I love this. And I think it's so good for me to know like the timing, I guess, of when you're doing these things, because I feel like I have enough inner strength or fire where I can sort of like endure these circumstances, but it is so depleting. And I don't
Yes.
want to go through any interaction feeling like I'm just going to have to sort of like muscle my way through this so that I can be the best leader and be the one who's like upholding the energy for everybody else in the space. Which is really like, if you're a team lead for Composed Living, this is your most significant role, right? You're the energy setter for everyone, for the client, for the rest of the team. And it's something that comes naturally to me, but it's not always joyful, right? And so having
100%.
something in my toolkit where I can go in feeling like I have a little bit more armor, so to speak, and I'm not just like muscling through these interactions, sounds actually really nice. And same, like I
That's
have a
beautiful.
lot of interactions in my personal life where I guess I don't know if it's like my age or where I am in my life. I just feel so extremely sensitive to other people's negative emotions specifically.
Mhm.
I don't seem to absorb other people's joy as easily as
Yeah.
I absorb other
Mhm.
people's misery, which is terrible.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
But
so,
that's amazing that you're aware of that. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, because I've definitely become, I mean, I like to call myself like an energetic snob because I just cannot be around negativity in any form. I can't even watch, there's so many, I can't watch movies, I can't watch like series, like there's so many
yeah,
things. I'm not on Netflix because there's so many things that just affect me so deeply. And the more that I've been doing this work, the more I realize that yeah, that's actually what it does. So you're definitely following your intuition and your guidance, right? You're doing the right thing by distancing yourself from that when you can.
well, and yeah, that's, I guess the thing is, I don't always feel like I can or I know how to. And so I love having, even these few simple to like, that's something I could incorporate into every day or in the moment. That's, as long as I remember, or I can at least be in the
Yes.
habit of practicing it because,
Yeah.
there's certain people that you love and you want them to be around, but for whatever reason, your energies are just not jiving all the time. And so they're not people that I want not to be in my life. I just want to feel more joyful in my own body while I'm around them.
Yes, and everyone benefits from that as well. So definitely, it's nothing selfish. It's because they're going to benefit as well for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for those tips. How cool. Uh, I feel also weirdly connected to Archangel Michael.
That's
Not
beautiful.
not where I thought this was going to come up, but it's like the one in, and I'm not like, I mean, he's probably like the only angel that I know by name. So this is definitely not my realm of expertise, but I read something about who he is as sort of like this, the ultimate protector figure. And then I had these like really quick flashbacks to my life of like really significant turning points, some of them actually literally life-saving moments where the person there was named Michael. And I was
Wow.
like, what is this
Yeah.
weird coincidence? Like how bizarre. Cause I don't think I even have any friends who are named Michael. I'm sorry if I do. And I've like forgotten you in this moment, but it's not like a significant name in my life, and then to have like, a doctor who saves my life and his name is Michael and like all of these other things. I was like, that has to be more than coincidence, or at least, I'm very happy to believe that it's more than coincidence.
I love that for you, and you're 100% right. Yeah, you're 100% right. So I love that for you, and especially if you feel connected to him, then that's definitely. If you think, oh, is this a sign? Is that it? It always is. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you have that.
Oh, so cool. It's so random that you brought that up too. Uh, how fun. Well, thank
I
you.
did call on him before this session, so I'm like, I've seen him standing here, so I'm like, yeah, I'm
He's
not
in.
surprised that he came in.
He's in the conversation.
I love it.
Uh, well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with me to have this conversation, and for those energy clearing tips. I think that's going to be so helpful for me, and I hope it's helpful for anyone who's listening who might have the same feelings about being an empath and what that does to your own bod.
I'm
When do you
glad.
leave for Sweden? You're going soon.
Yes, a couple of weeks. So I'm just getting ready, trying to focus on the joyful things I'm doing and not being too stressed about packing for 4 kids. But it's all good.
I love that. Well, the teenagers can take care of themselves.
Absolutely. They're even going to babysit tonight when we go for date night. So they're really good. So
Oh,
I can't complain.
so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, our kids are, well, the 23 is the oldest, and then very soon this month and next month, the younger two will be turning 15 and 13. So it's wild.
Beautiful.
I know. I see my
It is.
girlfriends with like new babies, and I'm like, whoa, I can't even. I can't
I
imagine.
know. I know.
I can't imagine you with a 1-year-old. I'm like, I'm so far removed from
Yeah, but
that life,
it
but
just
it's
gets
so
more. It gets
wonderful.
better and better. I think it's all so fun.
Yeah. It is. I love every stage of parenting. They all have their challenges and they all have so much beauty. It's cool.
Definitely.
Cool thing to have happen. Um, Well, thank you so much again. I hope you have a wonderful
Thank
summer. I hope you find lots of moments of joy and play and creativity when you come back to your art studio. That's such an exciting thing for you.
thank you. This was such an honor, and I'm so glad that we've connected. I look forward to staying in touch. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And for everybody who wants to connect with Emma and learn more about what she does, you can find all the ways written in the episode notes below wherever you're looking, wherever you're listening to this podcast.